Welcome to Fighting Over Fiction. I'm Will.
I'm Tash.
I'm Fraz.
Today we're asking, is everything, everywhere, all at once, maximalist filmmaking genius or just overwhelming?
Finish her!
Sorry, I feel like that title was a little bit of a mouthful. I apologise.
I think the title or the big question of this week really kind of encapsulates itself. It's very kind of like, it's very meta, this title, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Is your question maximalist genius or is it just overwhelming?
I think it's the latter.
There was quite a lot of questions in this document that I had to Google the meaning of. I'm not going to lie.
Oh yeah, the last one especially, I think, was a Google-worthy question.
How are you all?
Yeah, all right, thanks. How's you?
I'm sick.
Ugh.
I've got a cold.
Gross.
And your house is leaking again.
Our house is leaking again. We'll sort it out eventually.
It's been a week.
It's been a week.
But we're here. We're watching movies. And we're talking about them.
I have to say, I think Evelyn's had the worst week out of all of us in Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Well, at least our house wasn't leaking.
That's true.
What have you guys been watching this week other than your water bills go up?
Oh, I did finally watch Rear Window.
Oh, yes. How
which
did you
I
find
loved.
it? Yeah.
I really, really loved it. I thought it was a great use of like dialogue and reasoning within character development, which I loved. And I also started watching the next movie on my Letterboxd Top 100, which is Landscape in the Mist.
Ooh.
But it's one of those ones where, because it's subtitled, you have to actually physically sit and watch it. So I'm about a third of the way through. I'm
finding subtitled movies. I'm really enjoying them because they do have to take your attention.
You have to sit and watch.
Cause I've been off work a bit this week as well, so I've watched quite a lot. But the thing I want to talk about is I watched Beef on Netflix.
Oh yeah,
season 2. I already saw season 1. I wasn't a huge fan of season 1, but I really enjoyed season 2. It is essentially just a show, like a snowball show, where like there's an inciting incident and then things just kind of get like bigger and bigger and bigger, but not in a kind of like stupid way. They just kind of escalate in a really, like the way that something might happen if you don't like discuss your issues properly, and if you don't deal with problems head on, and if you just kind of like start throwing more tiny twigs on the fire, eventually you're going to have like a roaring blaze. It's a really
i.e. you have more beef.
Exactly, yes. Will, what have you been watching, buddy?
I'll start the one that you're going to be interested in because it's not acid cartoons or Stargate, although a lot of that has been consumed. I watched the first 3 quarters of All Quiet on the Western Front, and I'm desperate to finish it.
Oh, okay. And how's it going? Is it going well?
It's horrifying and absolutely harrowing, and I do love a war movie that really does paint it in kind of the depressing outlook of how awful it truly is. And man, does it do that.
Yeah. Is it based on the book? Play?
I believe so, yes, yeah.
There's a new war movie coming out with Brendan Fraser in it. And it's meant to be the untold true story of D-Day. And, I mean, it's just a movie I don't want to watch.
You feel like it's one of those ones you feel like I just don't want to watch it. I know I'm going to be so depressed after watching it, but I feel like I almost have to.
It's like it's your civil responsibility to do so. Yeah, I mean, can there be an untold truth? I thought we knew about D-Day already. Like, how can it get any worse? All right, Will, tell us about Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Sure, let me just quickly gain the skill to do that. It was directed by the Daniels, who previously made Swiss Army Man. Michelle Yeoh performed many of her own stunts, drawing on her background in action cinema to ground the film's more absurd elements. The film was made on a relatively modest budget, around $25 million, but became a huge box office success, grossing over $100 million worldwide. It won 7 Oscars at the 95th Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Wins for Michelle Yeoh, Ke-Huy Quan, and Jamie Lee Curtis. Ke-Huy Kwan's role marked his major Hollywood comeback after decades away from acting, having previously been known for Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom and The Goonies.
This movie has such a story behind it. I think there are so many like behind the scenes little anecdotes and tales, like particularly about Ke Kwan's whole comeback, how he didn't want to be in acting anymore because he was essentially typecast into these very, very problematic roles. And apparently he saw Crazy Rich Asians and was jealous that he wasn't acting anymore, and he's like, right, get me a role, and he got a role in this, and then God, he was spectacular.
He
in
was
this,
spectacular,
wasn't
wasn't
he?
he?
My goodness!
Imagine coming back for this and being like, "Yeah, that." Do you know what? I mean, to me, this was one of the most perfect movies. He's come back, done the perfect role, gone. Yeah, do you know what? I'm going back into retirement. I've completed it.
I've completed
And then, he
it,
got,
yeah.
then he got an acting Oscar. It's
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely wonderful. This is one of the very, very few films that has 3 acting Oscars as well. Like,
Yeah.
there's a handful. How did you feel about this film? You guys have seen this film
We've
before,
seen this.
right? This was my first time watching it.
Yeah, no, we've seen this. We've seen this before. I love this film for many different reasons. I think
You don't look like you love this
I
film. You
do.
seem like you don't want to love this film.
I'm skeptical of saying this because I think I know what your opinion is, but
My opinion should not affect your opinion,
I know,
Tash.
it shouldn't do, but it does.
So go on, you tell me why you love this film. Actually, let me say. So, I really want you to tell me why I should love this film,
Okay,
because I feel like I should, but I don't.
I knew it.
So, Tash, tell me why I should love this film.
I just think it's just so cleverly crafted, and it's a lot. I can understand it's very overwhelming when you're watching it. You just think you're in this kind of massive roller coaster ride that's never going to end. But it's just so poignant in its message, and how it presents its message is just so unique. That's just why I love it, because you've never not seen anything like this before.
I could completely agree with all of that, actually. I don't think I've ever seen a movie and had this kind of like broad spectrum of reaction, because first of all, I think it is incredibly made. I don't think I've ever seen a film before where I could see like the directors and the writers' ideas like come to life so vividly on the screen. Like some of the shots I had now, I was like, how have you first of all imagined this?
Yeah.
And how have you then translated it from your brain onto the screen? Absolutely wonderful. I was astonished by this entire movie. So original. So rare that you see a film where it's like, I've never seen anything like this at all. I was entertained throughout. So I loved it. I was entertained by it. I just don't think I liked it. And I think that's because of the last thing you said about the way it tells this story. I think I just didn't connect with the story. I was waiting for the point to hit. I was waiting for the like, oh, it's about that, and it just didn't quite land for me. Will, how do you find this movie?
I love this movie so much. Like, so much. This is the only film I've ever gone to the cinema to see by myself.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where I feel quite hipster about it. I went to see it in the opening week, and I heard someone randomly, the most random way to hear, I heard someone on Twitch go, I went and saw this movie and it was amazing. I don't know why no one's talking about this. And they never talk about movies. They just play video games and they shut up, which is brilliant. So I thought, do you know what? I'm just going to take myself down to the cinema and watch it. And it's one of those films you watch it, and I came out and I thought the same. I went, why is no one talking about this? This might be the best film I've seen in the cinema, easily. But possibly not the best film I've seen. Best film I've seen in the cinema.
It blew up on Letterboxd, didn't it? That's what really got its following.
But it took like a good month before it kind of really caught on. And sometimes when you have these discoveries where you find something, you kind of go, oh, I want to keep that to myself because I want that to be my thing. And then other times when something is so good, you go, I really want everyone to share how good this is. And so when I came out and was telling everyone how good it was and they weren't listening, I was like, so that month later, so nice to have someone to talk to about it. I'm
really looking forward to discussing this movie with you two and then maybe watching it again, because I feel like this is a movie that I can fall in love with, but I'm massively on. I feel like I'm on like a point where I can fall either way.
Like a teeter, like a balance board. I think as well, for me, I noticed a lot more in the second watch. Than I did because the first one is a little bit of a fever dream. It's like, oh my god, like you're keeping up with so much and you don't necessarily appreciate it all to start with. That's what I found anyway. And then this time round I was like,
well, that's why that is.
That's why.
Sure. So, can I get a few things straight with you about this movie, because I want to make sure I understand it fully. Because I think this is one of the problems that I had like watching it, was I was trying to make sure I understood what was going on.
Yeah.
Which sometimes can kind of pull you out of the story.
Yeah, you kind of then get into your own head, don't you? Of like, right, and then you might miss things or
What's important and what's not. So we're in a multiverse where you can access the skills, the knowledge of your like ultraverse selves.
Yeah.
Or you can project yourself into an ultraverse self.
Yeah.
Or you can project yourself into someone else.
So I think when you're gaining the skills from another reality, you then have that link left over. That's kind of like not meant to be there. It's kind of like leftover memory. So it's kind of like if you have an OLED TV, if you leave something on the screen too long, it then has a little burn-in for a little bit. So it's kind of like that. So you're gaining all of that knowledge, but then you also got this short kind of distance where you're kind of aware of what's going on.
Okay. This is done by doing something silly.
Yeah.
And then answering a Bluetooth.
It's by doing something so outrageous that it doesn't make sense for your current reality, I think. So then that's why it's kind of like it creates such a branch.
Like it breaks the window down between the...
I think I could be completely wrong, but I think of it as, every decision you make is obviously splits in two ways.
Yeah.
And obviously that's the point of all these different branches. And I think you're doing something so outrageous that it creates so many branches that is then you can go in.
Okay, sure. And it's unclear where these Bluetooths come from.
Yeah, the Bluetooth bit is a bit of a hole. Maybe I'm missing something.
That's absolutely fine. Like, I'm not going to like judge it on stuff like this. Like, this is a movie where you have to accept a certain amount of things. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't like.
It's like the granddad suddenly has his wheelchair become like a spacesuit.
Yeah,
I mean that's really impressive. He got that done in that time.
Yeah, it is. It is. Right. It was the Alphaverse that figured out how to do all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they are trying to stop Jobu from destroying the multiverse.
What they think is her destroying the multiverse, yeah.
Now, the only person that can stop Jobu is Evelyn, because Evelyn is so incredibly dull that she has access to everything,
she's
everywhere,
such an
all at once.
Incredible failure of everything that she's got access to every branch.
Okay. Now, it turns out that Jobu just wants to destroy herself because she is constantly experiencing everything everywhere all at once and is in pain. Is that right? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. This is all played out in a burnerverse, which is where they have like the big fight, and it's kind of like a neutral space that they've created that they can kind of like where it doesn't affect anyone's real lives.
Well, that's where Evelyn's from though. That's her original universe. So she dies in that one. She'd die in all of them, I think, because that's where she's kind of projecting herself from.
Okay. And this is an epic battle they have in the Burnerverse, and the battle is like an analogy of Evelyn realizing that her dull existence is actually all that she's ever wanted, and that Jobu, Joy, her daughter, just needs a hug. Have I got that all down?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay, fantastic. So I did understand the movie.
You did
then.
understand it,
and I think that was important to put out, because if people are listening to this, I don't think everyone's going to have understood this movie, because it's
a lot.
It really does need a few watches, I do have to say. Every time you watch it, I feel like you understand a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more.
All right, cool. Should we ask some questions?
Let's go.
Is the film's chaotic editing and genre hopping emotionally purposeful?
I think it is. And I will tell you for why.
That's why we're here.
That's why we're here. I think they recreate the sensation of being mentally and emotionally overloaded, which we all feel. I feel like I'm in everywhere, everything everywhere, all at once. Sometimes, I think things are happening quickly and again all at once, and reflects how people often experience life now through fragmented attention, constant demands, and no real pause between responsibilities or emotional states. I think it is a little bit of a mirror onto the modern world.
So this is like a movie that's speaking to the chaos and the stressfulness of modern day life. Okay, maybe that's another reason why I didn't connect to it, because I don't have a chaotic and stressful modern day life. I'm essentially a trad wife.
I think that Evelyn's I think she's being pulled through this complete turmoil that a lot of us find ourselves in. I think the editing forces us to share that instability, because we are right there with her throughout the whole thing. So we're hopping with her, we're experiencing the pull between multiverses with her. So I think that's what's most interesting to me, and I think that it really connects to how surviving this kind of overload comes from learning how to stay emotionally grounded when you're in this kind of turmoil. She learns to exist within the chaos without letting it completely break her sense of self, even though it comes very close to doing so many times. And like, yeah.
A couple of things there. First of all, you said that we're with her throughout, and I think Michelle Yeoh 100% earned her Oscar in this.
Yeah, she did.
There are very few. No, that's not true. Very few. But you watch a film and someone gets an acting Oscar for it, and you're like, yes, that's because they've acted really, really well. I think not only did she act really well in this movie, but I think she carried this movie, not in a sense that it needed to be carried by someone, but the whole thing is through her POV. She plays kind of multiple characters in it as well. She is outstanding throughout. The workload for this film for her must have been immense. There's one shot and it's like a quick flip between like all of her different realities. There's about 50 different shots. That must have taken her days, absolutely days.
Yeah.
I love Michelle Yeoh. I really, really do. This film, I think the way you explain it like that, Tash, is making me understand why I don't necessarily connect to it as much, because it is, I think you're right, it is about modern life and it is about finding yourself grounded within all the chaos. And I just don't, like, I would be so happy if I owned a laundromat and my biggest problem was getting my tax receipts done. Ironically, this week I've literally done my tax return and it was super easy. It was right, I did it on my phone.
We don't have the IRS though, just saying.
Sorry,
we don't have the IRS.
No, I know it's different. For sure.
HMRC.
And I speak the language is my first language and all that.
Say shout out HMRC. Shout out to my gang at HMRC.
I mean, the HMRC gets a lot of stick, but they are better than the IRS for sure. I think this whole movie was a really, really unique way of telling like a fairly familiar story. I'll always enjoy a movie that tries something new, and this was, like I said, one of the most original movies I've ever seen. I think it challenges you by asking you to access your emotions in like a different way that you're used to. Often stories like this are done through, tearful and trope heavy two-handers, where like I say, where we are acting and we are crying and we are like dropping immensely deep lines. Whereas this movie does it with like hot dog fingers and multiverse bagel. There is so much to really admire about this film. I cannot speak highly enough about a film that I don't really like. It's so weird. On Letterboxd, I finished watching it and I gave it 4 stars. And I was like, do you know what? I'm going to think about this movie more, and it's going to go up to 5. And I thought about it more, and I put it down to 3.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah. So I'm really. I think a movie that makes you think this hard has to be good, but I also don't think you should have to think this hard to enjoy a film. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean, yeah. I love this film because of how much there is to unpack. That's just my brain.
Sure.
Like, I love delving into stuff like this.
Yes, yeah, so do I. But I think I don't know. There's like I say, it's the objective part of me thinks this is a 10 out of 10 movie. But the subjective part of me just didn't connect, I think is what it is.
That's okay.
Will, where are you with the film's chaotic editing? You are, you live quite a stressful modern life, don't you?
I guess so.
Did you relate hard to this movie? And you watched it in such a peaceful environment at the cinema on your own as well.
I did, yeah. I agreed with pretty much everything you said, apart from
me or Tash.
You, apart from it's a similar story. Like, I can't think of another story that's similar to it at all. Like, I think it is.
Oh, come on. Like, like boomer mum connects to gay daughter. Like, that's a story.
I can't think of another film that does that, though. Or not in the same manner at all. Like, it's just so different.
Not in the same manner, for sure. Like, this is what I was saying. It is a familiar story. Like, all stories are familiar, I think. And that was me giving it credit. Because all stories are familiar. All stories are recognizable. There are no original stories. But this managed to tell it in an original way. So don't get me wrong, I'm giving it credit for that, not bringing it down.
All right, I'll forgive you a little bit.
Thanks.
I just think everything about it is just, like, we're almost blessed to have this movie. Like, I can't think of another movie that's been so original, so different, and has landed just so well. I think the beginning of the movie, if you take the the entry where you're kind of just seeing Evelyn's life with the taxes and her daughter and her father. Although that's kind of like the normal movie way of trying to convey stress, and as a viewer, you don't really feel it. You're like, oh, yeah, it looks quite stressful. I don't really know though. And it's until then she has that initial conversation, and she's jumping between universes, and suddenly there's so much going on. I generally feel really stressed watching it. Like, I immediately am emotive in the movie, and I think that's usually quite hard. That usually takes a whole movie to get there. Sure. I feel, but that just seems so natural and just so instant that it was just all at once. It was brilliant.
The thing that I say about where a movie can tell its world and explain its characters and get its point across in a single scene, this was certainly one of those films, but I think it did it more than once. So you talk about that opening scene. I found that the most chaotic and stressful part of the whole film.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They were talking over each other. It was multilingual. It was in this, and laundromats are kind of noisy and hot environments as well. And all that paper everywhere with all the receipts. I found that the most stressful part of the whole film. And I found the when she started going into the multiverse, almost calming.
It was like a reprieve.
Yeah, but I think that's because that's when I kind of started to think about the movie objectively and thinking about how fun it was and how unique it was. You say about there's been no other film that's dropped in this kind of way. The whole way through this movie, I was thinking, this movie reminds me of The Matrix crossed with, and I couldn't think of the other film.
I put down Inception meets Interstellar meets a kung fu movie or something similar to that, but I feel that even then it's kind of missing something as well.
I can answer that question for you because I listened to another podcast about it, so I'm desperately trying to get more people's views on this. And they said it reminds me of Back to the Future, and I was like, yes, that is it. This is The Matrix with the kind of the depth and the existentialism of it all, mixed with this kind of colourful pop comedy. And I think it is The Matrix meets Back to the Future, which are two amazing movies. And I don't think this movie is as good as either of them.
Oh, I'm gonna ignore you on that. I'm just gonna carry on my own spiel. I think I really need to focus on the genre hopping because I feel like it did change so much. And each time it was almost a shock, but then it wasn't jarring. Again, I don't know quite how they did that. Again, with the entry scenes going into then her switching between the universes, to then her getting hit around the head by Jamie Lee Curtis, to then Jobu coming in and just completely blowing reality apart by making someone turn into sprinkles and then make them in a kind of a salsa dress and stuff like that. That just completely just tore it apart. And it happens another 10 times throughout the movie. And I say several times, I just can't quite put my finger just how brilliant it is. I'm amazed with it.
We talked about Sinners and whether or not it was whether it pushed genre boundaries, and we decided it didn't. It just stacked genres on top of each other. I think this film pushes genre boundaries. I really do.
Oh, 100%.
And again, full respect for it. Yeah, I enjoy the genre hopping. I don't like kung fu movies. I don't like fight scenes in general. And this one had a particularly long one. It was slightly more entertaining because she was using her little fingers, but I found myself falling out of it a bit during the fight scenes. But the scene that you're talking about where Joby's turning people into sprinkles, not sprinklers, that would be different. I really enjoyed that one. Yeah.
Did the multiverse versions of Evelyn deepen or dilute her character?
I don't like multiverses. I really don't like multiverses. I always find multiverse stories dilute characters, just always. It's like, if I know that anyone can be replaced at any point, they become less valuable. And in this movie, you can even transfer your consciousness and their memories. So it's not even like, that's not my Evelyn. It can 100% be your Evelyn, physically and mentally. I cannot care for an infinite number of people in an infinite number of universes. I do not have the emotional capacity to deal with that many people. It's, the whole one death is a tragedy, a million is a statistic. When you're talking about an infinite number of people, I just can't get on board. One of my favourite fighting over fiction sayings is that stories are supposed to trick us into believing that fiction is real. And the beauty of reality is that it is finite, it's unrepeatable, and that's why we're all obsessed with recording everything all the time, because we want to relive everything that we experience. And the multiverse just kind of like pisses all over that idea. The fact that, I think that's why this story has less meaning for me, because it's a multiverse story. Like, I think I would have enjoyed it more if she'd been accessing these skills, like in The Matrix. It's similar. He's accessing these other kind of skills and stuff, but without it becoming an infinite number of Neos. You know?
Yeah.
Tash, you disagree with me?
I do. Let me come at it from a different angle.
Sure.
So, for me, I think that the multiverse versions of Evelyn actually deepen the character more than it dilutes it. So I feel like at the start she feels really fixed.
Yeah.
In that one version of herself, she's stuck under pressure and like completely disconnected from her family, even from herself. I think the multiverse then throws her into these alternate lives and possibilities that she's never considered before. First, it's overwhelming. And it feels like her identity is just being pulled apart completely. But I think then what makes it really work is that it slowly shifts from something that's happening to her into something she starts to use. So it flips partway through the movie. And I think the different Evelyns she encounters aren't just other versions of herself, but different possibilities of herself that she can then take on. And these shape different choices and circumstances to make her feel much more layered, because we start to see how many versions of her were always there underneath the surface. I feel.
See, I don't think that's right though, Tash. I don't think all those versions were there under the surface. They were in a different universe. She never, like, you're talking about character development.
Yeah.
Her character develops into believing more in herself and believing in her capabilities and believing of her possibilities. And that is through the multiverse. But I don't think, I think that could have been achieved, like I say, without the multiverse. And those layers weren't always there. They were somewhere else. They were only accessible.
But there's still possibilities of her. Was my point, was that those are like the possibilities of what Evelyn could be, and she sees that and she goes, oh well, that is me, just in another place, so I can now take that on in a way and learn those skills and learn those parts of her that she can then take on. I
think you've put it right when you say let me kind of get it from a different angle. So you found the multiverse Evelyns deepened her character, it developed her character, and it made her character deeper, whereas I look at it as like a whole. Like, did the multiverse deepen her for me?
Yeah.
I see what you mean. Yes. Okay, I agree with you then. I
kind of see it as the analogy of like you have to be completely ripped apart and reach rock bottom before you can be put back together again.
Yeah, that's a good way. It's a little bit
like Evelyn going into the army and getting completely beaten down to then be brought back up again.
Yeah, it's you. I think you can. Again, I'm looking forward to rewatching this movie because I think you can look at it from different points and you can use it as an analogy for.
I think
for
it's
many
really exciting
things.
Though that you can see the different angles. I think it's really interesting that you didn't see the development there, but which I understand as well.
I did see the development, and I do agree with you. I just didn't like how they got there.
Yeah,
you see what I mean? Like, I wish she would have achieved those things through means other than a multiverse, because a multiverse just make me roll my eyes. Like Marvel has ruined multiverses.
I think that I was going to say that. I think Marvel's completely wrecked it.
Yeah,
because they trod on it and stamped on it and killed it.
And it's just massively overused, and it's used so much as like an
excuse a lot of the time, isn't it?
Yeah,
convenience
to retcon things and to make sure Robert Downey Jr. is still in your in your universe and stuff. And I mean, it's always been a weird question for me with multiverses. I think if you're going to do multiverses, it has to be like a complete reset. Like, I think that's where like the Spider-Man multiverse does it quite well, because it is like it does really branch out, and I suppose this movie does branch it out, and I liked how they visualized the multiverse as well with the on-screen thing. I didn't understand why this Evelyn was so important as well, and I know I've explained to myself why she's important, but I don't think that was communicated that well. Like, if you really need,
I agree with you on that. Actually, I think we needed a bit more of a reasoning as to why she was the one.
yeah, like
because she was the worst decision out of all of them. So every single life decision she made the worst decisions. That's why she got to that point. So that's why she has access to every other.
But surely
universe.
a worst decision is a subjective thing, right? What's one good decision for one person is a bad one for another.
Well, that's the point. That's the point of the film. Because then the answer is that that was the bad decision, but it was the right decision.
for her.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, if I was the Alphaverse, I would have gone just with Kung Fu Master.
Yeah, Kung Fu
Evelyn.
Master Evelyn, yeah.
Because I don't think there's anything that Kung Fu Master Evelyn couldn't do that anyone else. Like, at one point, she was like, I'm in the hot dog universe, I mastered to use my feet. I was like, I guarantee Kung Fu Evelyn has mastered her feet as well. If she's mastered her little fingers, she's mastered her feet.
Would that be a completely different story, though?
Yes,
it would be a completely different story.
This is just
It
back
wouldn't be
to
everything ever all at once.
why didn't they just fly the ring to Mordor in the first film, you know? For me, I think this is exactly where Everything Everywhere All at Once separates itself from the other multiverse films. I don't think the film is really about multiverses, even though it's entirely about multiverses. I kind of see that they're using multiverses as a tool to almost drive emotion rather than kind of then as the
You seem
the
so
multiverse.
sure of yourself, Will.
Like this might be the most
Confidence.
kind of like overconfident I've been about a film. I'm just like, I just think it's just so perfect, and I think the multiverse is there to express Evelyn's emotions, and it's the way that they're then portrayed about the alternative Evelyns is so that there aren't. So they're not so that we can care about infinite versions of her. So again, it's not we're caring about all people in reality. They're there to understand. They're there so we understand this single Evelyn more deeply.
It's interesting that you say that, because now that I think about it, the way that they showed the multiverse in the little phone, it looks a little bit like neural pathways in a brain. So you could say that like she's accessing the parts of her brain that have been laid dormant because she hasn't accessed them because she hasn't like lived a full or purposeful life. I know what you mean. I know they want me to care about like regular Evelyn, and I did care about regular Evelyn. But if regular Evelyn died, there's loads of other Evelyns. So that's what I mean about multiverses ruin it for me. And it's not the way that they did. I think the way that they did it was great. But when you're talking about what they're going to destroy the multiverse, I'm like, ugh. Like, if they're going to destroy the laundromat, I'd probably be really into it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think I just prefer small stories. And this had a small story in it. Like I say, that first scene had me absolutely gripped, and it had me stressed out. And as soon as it became this massive thing, that's when it started to lose me.
I think it's because multiverses usually remove the stakes, doesn't it? So then you're kind of going, oh, well, it doesn't matter because there's another multiverse. I think if this movie had come out separately before all the Marvel movies, would you feel differently about it?
Yeah, I think probably. I think I started watching Legion, which is a Disney thing, which is apparently amazing. And I got about 20 minutes in, and I was just bored because I knew it was a Marvel thing. I see a Marvel stamp on something, and I roll my eyes. And I know this wasn't a Marvel, but if you told me this was a Marvel, I would have believed you. It had all the hallmarks of a Marvel.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
But I think that's because Marvel have made their own hallmarks.
And I think it's the problem is they've made multiverses like commercialized in a way. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's just to serve the franchise as a factory. Whereas it was using it as an emotive tool. I feel like it was using it so differently. It's kind of like, you know, it's not a gun that kills people, it's the person type thing. It's like the same thing. It's like it's not the tool, it's how you kind of use it. And it's a shame that it feels like you feel like it's been marred. I kind of feel like it's beautiful, but yeah, I do get what you mean. Is the humour a successful counterbalance to the film's heavier themes?
I think it does work as a counterbalance, but it's a fucking rickety one. I think it adds to the absurdity that the film's trying to portray, rather than softening the themes. I think the humour and emotion are like constantly overlapping, and it reflects how messy really emotional experience can be. Like, one minute you're laughing, the next minute you're crying, or you don't know whether to laugh or cry. This kind of like emulates that really well. I think where the humour is really unsettling is in Joy's storyline. I think her behavior across the multiverses is chaotic and even funny at points, like turning people into sprinkles. Like, that's the nicest way you could possibly rip them apart, right?
True.
Sugary sweetness. I think the same goes for Waymond and Evelyn as well. I think their humour brings in a kind of warmth and softness. Like, we see what their relationship used to be like, which makes the emotional weight hit harder. I do think, though, having said that not all of it did land for me in terms of humour. I think I tend to prefer more sustained emotional tone. So I think some of the comedic shifts, the bigger ones, kind of pulled me out a bit.
There wasn't a lot of lingering in this movie, was there?
No, you didn't have time to think.
The pacing was kind of relentless.
Yeah.
Go on, sorry.
Yeah, I just found it a little bit like I wanted more time to kind of sit in an emotion, which in a way I think, again, that's a good thing because it emulates again how quickly this stuff's changing and how quickly life changes and you don't have time to think a lot of the time or some of the time. I think it deliberately is unstable in its tone, almost like it's refusing to let you settle too comfortably.
I think it's when you bring up Joy. Like, I think that was the storyline that I was most into.
Yeah.
And that is the storyline that is most kind of shaded by the humour.
Yeah.
Because you're put off by her like ridiculous outfits and her kind of like ridiculous character as Joby, but it is really her storyline that is kind of dragging Evelyn along because that's the relationship that needs to be
fixed.
Most.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the movie, the humour in this movie. I thought the balance was great. There is just enough weight and tension, and then with the comedy all mixed in, I would have preferred a little bit more lingering, but I think then you have a different movie.
Yeah.
And I think if you'd slowed this movie down, it would have almost become more disjointed.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it would have felt like you're bumping into walls rather than like rolling down a hill, I suppose. I found the family dynamic like really relatable. It was awkward. Jamie Lee Curtis was
she was
so
sensational.
Good. The whole hot dog fingers thing got me. Ki Kwan was holy shit, he was incredible. The depth that Ki Kwan Lad added to every single layer of Waymond was amazing. Like there are so many different versions of him, and the way he flipped from one to the other, it was like someone was teaching acting. And for someone, and again with the story behind it makes it even more powerful. I found him hilarious. I found him devastating, like the divorce storyline as well.
Oh, that story.
Like I felt for him so hard because he clearly loved this woman to death, and it's almost like he was threatening her with divorce. Say, look what you've driven me to. Please don't make me divorce you. But again, there wasn't a lot of lingering in it. But again, I think that's a different movie. Will, did you find this movie funny? Was it funnier than Role Models?
Was it funnier than Role Models? Good question. Is the humour a successful balance to the heavier themes? I don't think it is.
Oh, okay.
I think it needs the humour, and I think it obviously provides the ridiculousness for the movie. I kind of see the humour almost as a side point, but it has to be there because I think the film is just so heavy. Like every time I watch it, I feel like I'm having an existential crisis. Like especially the rock scene. I mean, damn that rock scene. We'll probably talk about that a bit more later. Like,
no, let's talk about it now.
I honestly feel just so inconceivably small and unimportant during that scene, especially during the silence. I really do feel like nothing matters. I think it really just does convey these ideas so well and so emotively.
The rock scene was something special.
I love that. I forgot that scene was in there.
Yeah.
And then when it got to it, I'm like, oh my God, the rock scene. Oh, this is amazing. And I was literally at the edge of my seat. So bold.
Is it top 10 movie scenes? Like, it's just so...
That's a conversation for another time.
No, it's just so...
No, now.
It's so perfect. It's so well thought out. And it's just so simple. But how does it make me feel so much?
It is the simplicity of it. Like that's how you make a person feel. It's not through chaos and multiverses. It is through something simple like that, like written down text. Again, you can't you can't, 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 to have all those magnificent actors and this chaotic editing, and then just to drop into that scene, the length of the scene as well. Like it was almost Family Guy-esque. Like I thought it was going to end and it didn't. Then they added googly eyes to it. That was weirdly some of the most powerful cinema in this absolute juggernaut of a movie.
I loved the use of the googly eyes. I wrote a whole essay about the googly eyes. I love them. I think they're a good indication of like slightly different perspectives. Like when Evelyn puts it on her forehead at the end, it's like she's embracing a different perspective, or Joy's perspective on life. And then obviously following that is the very emotional scene in the car park outside the laundromat where they're both tearing chunks out of each other.
That scene, was that Joy or was that Jobu?
The one outside the laundromat, that's Joy.
That's Joy.
I think they're one of the same at that point.
Yeah.
That was a bit I didn't quite understand. I got confused as to where Joy finished and where Jobu began. But I think you're right there, Will. I think in that car park scene, I think that's like the tip of the spear. That's where Joy has become Jobu and Jobu has become Joy. This definitely needs a rewatch, this film.
Does the film ultimately reject nihilism or repackage it as existentialism? And just for reference, nihilism is the belief that life has no inherent meaning, purpose, or value. It argues that ideas like morality, destiny, or the point of life are human inventions rather than objective truths. Existentialism accepts that the universe may not come with built-in meaning, but argues that people can create their own meaning through their choices, relationships, and actions. Instead of despairing over meaninglessness, it focuses on freedom and personal responsibility.
It's an interesting dichotomy, nihilism versus existentialism, because when you consider nihilism, I think you imagine chaos, whereas I find nihilism quite peaceful. I find nihilism a straight line.
It's quite freeing.
Yes, absolutely. It's like you start at point A, you roll down the hill like a rock with googly eyes on,
and see what you end up.
And you finish at point B. Whereas I find existentialism quite stressful. The idea that like, you know, karma exists and destiny's a thing and stuff, that I think that puts so much pressure on every single point of life. I think this movie is all about rejecting nihilism. I think it is about finding meaning in the simplicity of life. It's about stepping out of the chaos and out of the multiverse and realizing how important the things that you say and do inside your own home are. I think the bagel represented nihilism and the laundromat is existentialism, and it's about Jobu or Joy kind of accepting the laundromat and Evelyn accepting Joy into the laundromat. And I found it interesting that you put here, Tash, is it rejecting nihilism or repackaging it as existentialism? And I think maybe it's that. I think it may be the repackaging, but I do think the film rejects nihilism.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of think it nearly does. I think it pushes it to the edge first. I think the bagel, I saw that, again, the bagel literally becomes a black hole at the end.
Yeah.
But I saw it as a black hole throughout the whole thing, pulling kind of Evelyn slowly inwards and obviously Joy as well. And then I think it shifts then something closer to existentialism because she rejects the bagel and then helps Joy to, and then pulls her back into the laundromat and the life that they had together. I think it questions all the ways society gives us ready-made purposes like family roles, relationships, work, and even like identity. I think society likes to force obviously people into identities and labels, and I think the film shows how fragile those structures are when you zoom out far enough.
Yeah.
I don't think it leaves everything meaningless though. I think it suggests meaning isn't fixed and you choose it even when things feel chaotic or pointless, and that is a possibility that you can do.
Yeah, I think it's about the small things being meaningful. Sorry, this is a freshly formed thought here. The bagel, I think, could also represent like depression as well, and I think depression and nihilism do go hand in hand. I said nihilism is quite peaceful and freeing, but I think depression can also be quite peaceful and freeing. There is a piece to being accepting that your life is lonely and pointless. As like bad as that sounds and as unhealthy as that is, it's it is a comfy thing to just accept that you're going to lie in bed all day and do nothing.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't. You should shout at your children and and do karaoke in a laundromat and
eat donuts.
Yeah, and there should be consequences
Yeah.
to the things that you say and do. And you should do things that are wild enough to have consequences. You should climb a tree, even though you
Yeah.
might fall and break your arm.
My question is, why a bagel and not another baked good, like a
Um,
donut or a piece of bread?
Right, I'm going to think on that while Will gives his nihilism versus existentialism.
Isn't it because you can get
answer.
everything seasoning for bagels? Isn't there a bagel everything seasoning?
Yeah, everything but the bagel.
Is that why?
Maybe the bagel seasoning is the existentialism.
Because it's about everything but the bagel, because the bagel's still there, but everything is also on the bagel, and that's why it's been ingested, and that's why it's not the bagel, or is the bagel?
Are we the bagel or the seasoning? Is the world the bagel?
Am I the oven?
Are we the whole?
This gets deeper and deeper.
Don't say we're the whole and then say we get deeper and deeper.
Does the film ultimately reject nihilism? I almost think it embraces nihilism. It really does kind of force it upon you, and it forces you to feel these feelings are just about how insignificant and unimportant you are. And I think the way it then turns it around with Wayman's way of fighting almost is how you're meant to take the nihilism. It's
If everything is pointless, why not just be kind?
Literally,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I think that is it. It is, everything's just so crap. You're so small and unimportant. Why not? And you're going to have to do X. In this, she knows she has to fight them. There's no choice in the matter. Just like me and you just have to go on fighting life. Why not just do it nicely? You have to do it, so why not do it in a positive way?
I speak about the familiarity. How do you say for that? How do you say the word?
Familiarity.
Perfect. Both got it.
Yeah, the how we recognise this story. I recognise the story of someone wanting to destroy everything because it's pointless. I've never ever seen anyone say, if everything's pointless, let's just be nice to each other. And that was quite beautiful. And I can't think of many other actors that could pull it off as well as he did.
I just want to do laundry and taxes with you.
With me?
That's what he said.
Oh right. Well,
I mean, we can.
I think that is a beautiful life. Like I said, like this week, I haven't really done much else than laundry and taxes. It's been quite well, but I've really had a really nice week, other than being quite ill.
How did you feel after the film? Did you feel kind of emotive anyway? Like when I came out, so I ask you a question, I'm answering the question like some kind of savage. As soon as I finished watching this movie, I just felt like I just wanted to hug all my loved ones and just kind of really kind of appreciate what I have in a way. Almost, it kind of was that level.
So I do hug all my loved ones, and I do appreciate what I have. And I'm not saying that you don't, but I'm
sorry for not hugging you, friends.
No, it's okay. I'm sick. You can't hug me right now. I at the end of this movie, I felt kind of frustrated, but I think I felt frustrated because I didn't love it straight away.
Okay.
And I was really looking forward to this movie, and a lot of people whose opinion that I respect love this movie as well. And I wanted to love it, and I could see why it's so lovable, and I didn't love it. And I think, I don't know, maybe this movie wasn't for me. Like I said at the start, this is a movie for people whose lives are stressful and chaotic, and mine isn't.
Do you know, I wholly disagree.
Yeah.
I kind of feel before we watched this movie, we said, "Oh, this movie is so Fraz coded, like it's just all over it." Is it you're watching too many films? Is it fading into the mist now?
Why do you think this movie is Fraz coded?
Because it's just so deep and thoughtful, and there's so much going on that you can read into. It's not something that you can kind of watch 5 times and then you get the same point. Each time you watch it, it's a different emotion. You find a different answer from it. You spot a different thing. Like this time, I really spotted how many of the bagels there were before we even got to the bagel. Like when Jamie Lee Curtis is circling the taxes, she drew the bagel. And then obviously there was that reference where they're going, do your trousers not fit? Does everything not feel odd? And there's all these subtle references through the film where obviously that's taking part. There's just so much to pick up every time.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching it again. I think we need to do like another podcast on this movie.
I think we do.
I get it now, viewers.
Take 4.
Is everything, everywhere, all at once is maximalist filmmaking genius or just overwhelming?
Who wants to go first? All right, seeing as you're giggling, Tash, I'll go first. I think it was genius. I think this is a genius film. I think this is one of the most fantastically put together films I've ever seen. I think the Daniels had this vision, and they translated it incredibly well onto screen. I didn't find it overwhelming. I think it was a perfect movie.
I couldn't agree more.
Will, anything to add?
Filmmaking genius, also overwhelming.
Okay.
But like in a genius way.
Sure, yeah. It was meant to be overwhelming.
Oh yeah, no,
overwhelmingly genius.
It was meant to be overwhelming. I felt overwhelmed, but wow, what a genius there was behind that.
Sweet. Right, what are you guys watching this week?
I am going to carry on watching Landscape in the Mist.
Landscape in Mist.
In the Mist.
In the Mist. Will, what are you watching?
I'm really hoping to finish All Quiet on the Western Front.
Fantastic. I've forgotten what I'm watching because I'm sick. So thank you so much for bearing with my weird voice today.
It didn't sound weird at all.
Kind of sounds sexy in a way.
Oh, thank you so much. I can't really breathe. So this has been our longest podcast to date. So let's leave it there, shall we, lovely people?
Let's leave it there.
Hopefully it feels overwhelming for you viewers.
And genius.
And
everywhere.
All right, see you later.
Bye.